We're going to start the company meeting in about 1 minute. 1 minute till company meeting time. We've got a lot to go over today, so we're going to start very soon. Lots to go over today. Okay, we're starting the meeting in 10 seconds. 10 seconds. All right, let's get ready to rumble. So a lot to go over today. The biggest part of today is I'm going to go over an updated version of Connect the Dots. So yeah, so the Connect the Dots presentation we did about 6 months ago, I'm going to give a refreshed version of that with lots of updates and where we are and where we're going and all that. So for those of you that weren't here for that, I think it'll be really helpful. And for those that were, it's very different, and I think it should be really useful for you too. So with that said, we're going to start off as always with Miriam.
Thank you. Yay. Yeah, there are seats if anyone wants to sit. Just because there's some new faces in the room and some folks visiting, I just wanted to remind everyone I'm Miriam. I run the finance team. If anyone ever has questions about anything I present or just numbers in general, don't hesitate to reach out. GSS, I don't think I have to tell, and I don't think this is a surprise to everyone. We had an awesome January. We were up 11% over December. We were up 9% over budget. We just had, fantastic months, sort of hitting on all cylinders, and I'll dig into that by product line in a second. But I did want to point out this is the best performance we've had since April 2013. So, yay. Yeah, and I was going to say yay to everyone because you'll see. Yes. Yes, exactly. That's a good point. So I just broke it down by product line. Here's PPQ. PPQ was up 12% overall. PPC was up 16%. SEO was up 6%. Direct deals was up, but it was such a big number. It's sort of, I didn't share it, but yeah, good growth all around. Membership was up 10% month over month, so that's fantastic as well. Premium services up 5%. Premium service has been the little engine that could. It just keeps chugging along, doing well every single month, which is fantastic. And net was up, let's see, 6%, not quite as high as our GSS as, we've discussed in prior months. We still have some refund issues, which we're working on. And then EBITDA came in at a very respectable -144, almost in line with budget. We're $4K off of budget. So I think, this was a great culmination of great growth without spending, without unnecessary spending that would hurt our EBITDA. The other thing I wanted to share here is, I'm sure you guys remember this, like, picture perfect every single month. But we have made a slight change to our budget numbers for EBITDA. What we have done is Andy went back to the board and he got approval for us to add an additional $100K of expenses for us to invest in going after social and native ads. So yes, I'm sure we'll announce a little bit later. Beth will be introduced if you haven't met her already. But we're making an investment. We think this can add up to 20 to 35% of incremental revenue going forward. So we think it's a good investment to see how, let's give it a shot. Let's see how well we do and, see if it makes sense for the business. But certainly if we could add that much revenue, $100,000 is a good investment to make that happen. And I think that is it for me. Yes, that's it. Thank you.
And so just picking up on that, I want to introduce Beth. Where's Beth? Stand. Yay, hi. So Beth joins us from, she's a contractor, joins us from Bills.com, Freedom Financial, where she took a business that was overly reliant on Google and PPC and SEO and helped them find new channels, especially in Facebook and native advertising, and doing exactly what we would like to do. She did it in very clever, creative ways. In that case, she tried a bunch of different copy, and she found that actually celebrities worked. So Freedom Financial, Bills.com found Barbara Corcoran worked the best. They A/B tested their way and found Barbara Corcoran worked the best, and built a giant. I think somewhere between 20 and 35% of the revenue now comes from, profitable revenue comes from these other channels, which would be amazing for our business too. It's now 60 or 70%. Yeah. So, as we know, we're very reliant on Google today, and so when they sneeze and they change their algorithm and it hurts us, that causes us lots of heartache, and it's hard to run a business when you're that reliant on Google. So we need to continue to invest and find ways to diversify our channels, and that's always been a goal, and we think this is a big opportunity for us, and we think the time is right. So getting into the OKRs, on the PPC side, we continue to do very, very well on PPC. The margins are way ahead of goals. Brent, Kevin, Augustina, the team in India, everybody, now Raj, the analytics team, the ADI team, right, Rob, Marcus, everybody have done an amazing job with PPC, and it's a big change from even just like 6 months ago, right? I mean, I think a lot of us, if I were to ask you 6 or 12 months ago, would have said, boy, we're never going to get any growth or anything out of PPC, and I think we're really seeing now some really good, consistent growth, and not just of revenues, but of margins as well. So a round of applause for that team. They're doing a great job. On the SEO side, we're also doing a great job. I think that's another area where I think a year ago I was like, boy, is this ever going to work? Are we just going to keep getting hammered by Google algorithm changes and just kind of keep going down closer and closer to eventually zero? And I think that team has done a great job turning that around, not just not going down, but now they're going up. And I think now the Google algorithm changes typically are helping us, and we're getting benefits, and we're seeing lifts like we are now from doing the right things that makes Google like us and want to send us more traffic. And I think given the where we came from, I think we've made a lot of great progress there, and I feel like we've got some great tools and a great team, and are really making positive progress. So round of applause for that entire team as well. So great job there. And on the Pearl side, we are we're trying to find a way to solve the payment confusion problem. So we'll talk a little bit more about this later. So I'll probably save some for then. But this is a tough problem to solve, and the team is finding some good wins, and we're making some good progress, and we have already taken some things normal. I think in a couple categories in SEO, I think our two highest refund chargeback categories, tech support and home improvement, are now totally clean, totally clear, no payment confusion language, and so we're making progress, and we paid for that with wins that we found across the board. So we'll continue to do that, either taking wins and turning that into canceling out hits that we take in order to solve the payment confusion, or finding better payment confusion language, and so that we'll continue to make progress there, and we have not solved that yet, but we've got a lot more good tests coming the rest of this quarter, and are hopeful that one of them will push us faster. to solving that problem. On the 5-star rating. So we are right there at 4.6. So a round of applause to that team. They've been doing a great job getting us. I mean, we're right. It's quicker than expected. We're already right at 4.6, basically bouncing around right there. And that's great. I mean, customers are giving us better ratings than they were before. And we're seeing that in NPS. We're seeing that in other metrics as well. And so that's really great news. So it's great to see that. And they've got some great tools that they've built. Like Priority Access and others that are now really quite good tools we've invested in, and we're now starting to see the fruits of that labor in terms of quality experiences going to our customers. On the DemoCat side, we had a great January. We're having a great February. Everybody's nailing it. Look at that. That's awesome. Last quarter, this would have been like 0, 0, 20. That's amazing. Good job, you guys. So round of applause to all those that have done a DemoCat or two. On the premium services side, we are, we're not to our goal yet, but we're still building towards that goal. Yeah, we've got a new team, and we've got Rahul and sort of a bunch of new people on that team, and so we're still getting the momentum going, and we're building that momentum there. On retention, we've had a bunch of issues. I think one of the things that we didn't realize is that there's some seasonality with retention even, and we were sort of scrambling around, and there's a bunch of things. We got a lot more tech support, so some category mix, and there's some other things going on. But one of the things we didn't anticipate when we set the goals, and should have and will in the future, was that there's just, for some reason, seasonality in membership retention. And when we look back over the last few years, every year we see the same kind of drop, and we just didn't realize that. So anyway, that's why we're seeing the dip there, and it's a seasonality thing, which is not the first place we looked for obvious reasons. And then last but not least, international. International has been doing quite well too. So one of the things you may or may not know is our old friend Amit is now contracting for us, working part-time, focusing on the international part of our business and really helping us build up international, especially Germany and the UK, but also Japan and Spain as well. And he's finding lots of interesting opportunities, and I think we're seeing good progress there. So with all that said, connect the dots. So take a break, sort of a little bit different than our usual meetings. I got a lot of slides here, a lot to go over. I'll go through the whole thing. Then we've got the rest of our company meeting, which is only a little bit. So this is the bulk of what's remaining, and then I'll stick around and answer everybody's questions at the end. So I'm sure there will be questions coming out of this. So let's get started. So for those that don't remember or weren't here, Connect the Dots is about connecting sort of these quarterly OKRs. We're always doing these things, and we're thinking quarter to quarter to quarter to quarter. And you see around the building posters is saying our vision is customers' first choice for professional services. And the question is, what's in between here and there? Are these leading to that or not? And what's in between? And so that's what I'm going to attempt to answer today and update for those that were here 6 months ago. But first, I'm going to clarify the vision and clarify where we're going, and then we'll back into the other parts of that. So to start with, there's a customer problem. The customer problem is they just want to answer the question. People out there in the world have problems, and for the most part, they've got two places they go. They can either search, right, Google, or ask your uncle for help or something. These are sort of the free options. Or you go pay $300 an hour to a lawyer or whatever it is. And those are your main two options out in the world. And there's not really anything besides us in between. In the grand scheme of things, we're a tiny speck on this giant, giant market. Most people are either doing this or this. And we think, and I think the reason most of us are here, is we think there's a giant opportunity in between $300 an hour and searching and doing it yourself and trying to figure out on your own how to solve your problems. And on the expert side, they've got a big problem too, where they're super awesome experts and love veterinary medicine or being a doctor or lawyer or whatever it is, but they're not usually good at selling or good at marketing themselves. And so you end up with the best veterinarian or the best lawyer that doesn't have that many customers, And meanwhile, the sort of one that got B's through school or C's or D's, but is a great salesperson, has all the customers. And that's not right either on the expert side. And this is a giant market. So in the past, I've used 1.2 trillion, 770 billion. They're all giant numbers. It doesn't really matter. We made it a little bit smaller. We sort of got a little more conservative with some of our estimates. Still so big that it just doesn't, it's mind-boggling. And so let's talk about our solution. Let's talk about, first of all, what do we have today? Today, you start with a customer problem. Some sort of problem. Let's say your car broke down, you're stuck in the Presidio. And then in 80% plus of the time, you're now interacting with Pearl on our experience. So you go through and you say, hey, what's going on with your car? Says Pearl. And you say, I have a 2010 Aston Martin and the window wouldn't go all the way up. It stops half-inch from the top with the door closed. What can I look for? And then Pearl says, oh, tell me about the make and model of your 2010 Aston Martin. It's a Vantage. Great. Tell me about are you fixing your Vantage yourself, etc. We've all seen this before, I think. But this is the flow that over 80% of our customers are going through now. PPC, SEO, almost all of them are going through this channel, are going through Pearl. And then finally, of course, okay, now it's time to pay. And then Pearl connects you with a real live vetted mechanic. With the right experience, we got 700 specialties, everywhere from RV to Ford mechanics to and all the medical and legal. We got specialists all over the place. And I'm hitting all these points because I think it's easy to forget what we actually do. I mean, what we do is a pretty amazing thing in the grand scheme of the world, that we can connect you with a real professional, even in all these specialties for, in the grand scheme of things, a very small price, very quickly. It's pretty amazing. They can solve your entire problem now with premium services especially, so it's not just via Q&A, but we can do video and phone, and we do lots of remote desktop in the tech support category, and we're doing some document preparation and stuff now, and so the premium services thing, we can really solve a much bigger problem than a couple years ago, and that's a big deal. And all this for about $32 for the question part. That's pretty amazing. We do it in under 10 minutes, fast. 24/7. We do it even at night, even with Santa Claus, even on holidays, and that's pretty amazing. And then on the expert side too, it's pretty amazing. And we paid out experts over 10 million bucks last year. 10 million bucks went to experts last year. Pretty amazing. And they get to do this all anytime they want, anywhere they want. They don't have to deal with rent or staff or all the back office stuff. They don't do sales or marketing. They're just doing what they're best at. I love veterinary medicine. I love helping pets. That's all I do. I just need a laptop and help people's pets. Pretty amazing. So, one of the things that we do that's so good and I think such a good differentiator out there, and I don't think we talk about it enough, is the experts. We have a really great set of experts. Over the years, we've built up this marketplace of experts that call this their home, and they make a great living answering questions on our site. And they're the ones, at the end of the day, they're interacting with our customers and giving them those great experiences that they have. We do a lot to ensure the high quality, and the whole expert ops team does a great job ensuring that they continue to do a great job. And that's hard work, and we know that's hard work, and it's always been hard work, and it's one of the reasons so many other competitors have failed over the years at trying to compete with us. So punchline here is we've built the largest marketplace connecting now over 10 million customers in our lifetime with 10,000 experts for digital one-on-one conversations. Here's a bunch of the competitors that we've vanquished over the years: Google 4 times, Microsoft, Amazon, LinkedIn, Facebook, Skype, Vixia, Fountain, lots and lots of others I won't even mention. Right, this is a tough business, right? That's why we're not a $20 billion company today, right? It's hard. It's hard for us, hard for them. They failed. We're still doing well. We're still building our business, and I think the exciting thing is that this is it's obvious that we're doing something great in the world, and this is where the world is going. towards more digital interactions with everything, not just cars via Uber, but professionals. So, one of the reasons that we continue to beat these competitors is because of the marketplace liquidity. We have a liquid market. The 6 to whatever it is minute response time is an indicator of that liquidity, and the quality of the experts we're able to put in front of customers is an indicator of that liquidity. And here's how that works. As we get more questions, we get more money coming in for the expert pool. As more money comes in, we get faster answers and more specialists for those customers. As that happens, we have happier customers, right? If you get a faster answer from a better expert, you're happier, which means our LTV is higher in the form of lower refunds, higher member retention, more repeat questions, all that stuff, which then means we have higher margins, which means we can afford to advertise more and bring in more questions. And so this is the kind of network effect that you want to see in a really good business, and we see that in our business. And the more we can continue to go round and round that cycle, the better and better our business gets. That's why a company like eBay, they have a network effect like this after all these years, right? It still has such a giant business. It's because of the network effect. And their site hasn't changed at all in like 20 years or whatever it's been. So what's the big new opportunity? What's new? What's different? I think it's virtual assistants is the big new change. I think something like 8 or 9 million of these shipped last year, and it's been accelerating. So in Q4, it was like the vast majority of that number. And a lot of estimates have that going to 50, 60 million in 2017 will ship. This is happening. And it's exciting. I mean, raise your hand if you have any of these 5 devices in your phone or at home. Okay, maybe raise your hand if you don't have any of these 5 devices. Yeah, okay. I mean, a couple people, fine. This is happening, and they're not perfect, they're not amazing. We don't use them for everything yet, but they're getting better, and they're going to continue to get better. And I think we'll see that. The other big piece of this, why do I say it's going to get better? Because the big tech is betting billions of dollars to make sure that's true. They all believe this is the next generation of sort of mobile and mobile apps being the last generation or the current generation, that these virtual assistants will be the next generation. And they're all battling to be the winner in that new marketplace. Google and Apple to make sure they don't lose their dominance. They dominate the mobile phone and mobile app store. And these other 3 to try to supersede them and beat them in this new generation. And these quotes are quotes from the CEOs of each of these companies. They're betting billions, trust me, on this. And so, that's an opportunity for us to learn. So we just watched and we witnessed the last few generations, the most recent being mobile apps, social being the one before that, etc. Here's the Gartner Group quote, just to confirm what I just told you. By 2019, 20% of all interactions with smartphone will take place via virtual assistants. And so the opportunity is, okay, so we know how that played out. You got Google and Apple one, and as the platforms, and then you got a bunch of really killer apps that have built giant businesses. Here, Uber is an obvious example, but many of these have built giant businesses on this new platform that wouldn't have been possible before mobile ecosystem, and especially specifically the ubiquity of mobile and location built in. Right, so Uber would not work. You'd still be taking a taxi every day or whenever you needed something, if not for the ubiquity of mobile, that both you and the driver has it, and the location built in. You're going to be taking a taxi without those 2 things. So because of those 2 things, Uber was able to build this giant, giant business. Okay? Now, who will dominate the virtual assistant market? So the first question is, who's going to dominate over here? It'll be probably 2 of these 5 or 6 players. Probably Google and Apple and Amazon are the 3 leaders at the moment to be a big player there. But we'll see. They're waging a giant battle, and it's just really starting for who's going to be the dominant player here. That's not us. We're going to be an app in the App Store, essentially. And I think it's clear to us now, with all the data we have, that professional services is a killer app in this new world. We're doing an amazing job with it already, and we're not even on any of these platforms yet. It clearly works. Language learning is another interesting app that I think will be a killer app out there. I think music is a killer app. I think on Amazon Alexa, you're listening to music is sort of one of the killer apps that's already happening out there. These are good killer apps that are going to happen. And there'll be many others that will be discovered along the way. And so some questions to ask. So first of all, are virtual assistants the next big thing? And I think yes, between not just the billions that big tech is betting, the 8 million devices that have already shipped, and then and that's just devices. That's just Alexas and mostly Alexas, but also some Google Homes and some others. When you start thinking about messenger apps and phone, right? Siri and Google enabling all the Android devices and Samsung getting into the game, and then all the messenger systems, right? WhatsApp and all the messenger apps starting to get into the chatbot game. It's happening. It's happening. Next question is, okay, what's new about virtual assistants? Just like in mobile, the two new things were mobile ubiquity and location. What's new about virtual assistants? And the big new thing is voice conversation user interface. That's the big new thing. So on top of having this with you and having location, all that stuff, now the new thing is you're going to talk to it. You don't have to go find the app. When you want an Uber, you're going to say, call me an Uber. You're not going to get in there, find an Uber app, click an Uber app, figure out which car you want, all that. It's just going to come when you say what you need. Next question to ask is, okay, why will professional services work? So number one, because it's all about conversations. We've been in the business of conversations this whole time. This is not new for us, conversations. The experts have been having conversations with customers. We're now trying to figure out how to take those conversations and break that into more of a professional, the way it works in the offline world, where you have an assistant that comes and does a bunch of intake, the nurse, the legal assistant, whatever it is, and then the expert does the hard part. We're taking that model and we're bringing it online. And we're good at that. We have that data. We have all those conversations from the past. We know what the veterinarian's going to ask when you say, my dog ate chocolate. Secondly, we also know that customers value an expert with an assistant. So who do you value more? Going to Wilson Sonsini and his giant office and his receptionist and very professional, and you finally meet with Larry Sonsini, or Better Call Saul in the back of a nail salon, right? The one with the assistant. It just feels more professional, and you feel like this is more valuable, even if it's the same exact lawyer. So I think that's one of the things we learned from this is having an assistant makes the whole thing feel more professional. Whereas in the past, it was like, type your question, okay, here you go, here's Better Call Saul. Now we have, sorry, Adam, I know your dad's name is Saul. Now we have an assistant that makes the whole thing feel more professional. The other reason is it's already working. We're doing 50,000 of these chats a day. It's amazing. We're already doing this and making a lot of money, which we'll talk about in a sec. And I think the last point and a key point is that this puts us where the customers need us most. This gives us the opportunity to be in a place where they have that pain, where they have that legal issue, that medical issue, that whatever the problem is that's happening with them. And we're not just sort of the last resort, but it gives us opportunity to be a customer's first choice for professional services. And so a quick summary on the state of the market. Basic AI, it's kind of the current state of things. All the Google, Amazon, all these guys, it's pretty much what we call basic AI. One in, one out, stock prices, sports scores, weather, search results, pretty straightforward, one in, one out, not conversations. That's the current. Then you got the future, and a lot of the news these days is about, the future and AI is going to take everybody's jobs and this kind of stuff, and computers are going to be smarter than all of us. And, you know, some people say that's never going to happen. Some people say, it's going to happen any day now. Yeah, I think the reality is probably more like 2045, maybe. That's what Ray Kurzweil would say, futurist. And so our take is, okay, 2045 now, what's in between all that? I think what we can do something that's called, that Rob Ellison actually coined, called AU, augmented intelligence, a combination of human and AI chatbot to actually have conversations. So not one in, one out, an actual conversation like what we're doing now, but not like sentient machine that does everything without human intervention. And so this is working. Pearl facilitated $2.4 million worth of new GSS for us in the month of January alone. So 2.4 million just of the upfront revenues, not like all the other stuff that sort of ended up coming from those customers, came through Pearl in January. And so what are the key parts of that? We've got the algorithm and team, we've got chats and conversations, and the experts. And so the algorithm is quite good. It works. It works very well. It's not perfect. We got a lot of work to do. We're not there, but it's working quite well. We got a very strong team with both Pavel and Bruce and the whole, both the Jarvis and the Valhalla teams working on this. We got very strong people on this, very smart, making great positive progress. And Sam and Lisa and everybody that's involved in that. And it works. I mean, you type in something and you got, we just tried it today. We typed something and we had all these typos in it and we sort of were just kind of teasing, and she figured it out. We were talking about it, you know, vomiting dog, even with all the typos and all the BS that we put in there, which is what our average customers do. And there's a lot of stuff that's going into that to making that work. The second part of that is the data. We have a lot of data to bring to this problem. We've got 50,000 chats a day, which are now going into our database. We're saving every one of those so that we can use that data to improve our algorithm over time. And of course, we've got the 16 million expert conversations over the last 13 years that we can then bring to bear on this. We know what the veterinarians are going to ask when you say your dog ate chocolate, because it's already happened thousands and thousands of times, and we've seen them do it. Why do they have to ask that question every time? We know what they're going to ask. Let's let the chatbot do that. And then, of course, the experts. We've got these 10,000 real, vetted, high-quality experts. They're the reason people are paying, right? They're not paying for the chatbot. They're paying because they want to talk to an expert. And so it's a natural extension of our business that this chatbot works and all this stuff. So let's talk about the journey, customer journey. Here's our customer journey today. We got all of our channels, PPC, SEO being the biggest two. Then we got our funnel. This is orange because Pearl is now playing over 80% of the time. That funnel is Pearl. Then you've got expectation setting, our waiting room. Then you've got expert Q&A, where you go back and forth with the expert. Then you got premium services and membership, customer service, and then email out the other end. Here's what's next in the near term with that. We're now going to take those channels and say, hey, it worked for us in SEO. It worked for us in PPC. This is going to work for other sites too. So anywhere from affiliates, which are Josh and Janicia are playing. We have a deal with Kitten Care now and FindLaw, where if you go to kittencare.com, Pearl pops up. And guess what happened? We put Pearl on there in place of our old affiliate ad. We doubled our conversion rate. They're making twice as much money. We're making twice as much money. Everybody's happy. And we saw the same thing again with FindLaw. And we're getting ready to take all of our affiliates and put them on this because it's working so well. That's on the lowish end, all the way up to this creates opportunities for us to go after the big guys too. All these guys. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a sec, but that's a big opportunity. Small deals to the biggest deals. We're hiring for a biz dev person. Josh and I are going to go out and do a bunch more biz dev this year. And our goal is to do some big deals with some of these players, at least one big player out there, so that Pearl is available to you through at least one of those big channels, ideally one of those devices, and not just as a skill that nobody uses, but something that's a strategic deal that makes a lot of sense for us. And so that brings us to where we're going with this thing. You know, as if Wayne Gretzky said, you want to skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is. And this is an opportunity for us. We have been, since the Pearl.com days, we've been playing a lot of catch up. We didn't have mobile. We didn't have good analytics. We let a lot of things go, and we've been playing catch up. And I think we've caught up. We're very good on a lot of these things. Not great, not all the way we want to be. We don't have the best mobile app, and there's a bunch of things that aren't perfect, but we're like in pretty good shape now. And so now it's time for us to start thinking about being a leader. And so, you know, mobile, we're a little behind on mobile, but this is a chance for us to be ahead. This is a chance for us to be ahead of the curve and be a leader in this space. And so there's opportunities at every single step of that customer journey. We can continue to find, you know, more channels, Alexa and all these different deals that we could do. We can continue to improve our conversion rates on Pearl in our funnel, and not just domestically, but we can bring it internationally. So that's money on the table available to us when we bring this, when she speaks German and Spanish and Japanese and proper English for the UK. And then on the expectation setting, this is an opportunity for us to get expectations on wait time and set expectations on wait time, and to do proper expert matching so that we can make sure the customer gets the expert that they want. On the expert Q&A side, there's an opportunity to expert augmentation. So we not only know when you say your dog ate chocolate what the questions are, we also know what the answer is. And so that's an opportunity for us to help the experts and say, hey, this is the answer we think you're going to give. Click here to submit it or click here to edit it and then submit it. That means the customer gets a faster answer and a higher quality answer, because we could make it sure it's a really great high quality answer where they address the customer properly and all the things that we'd like in the perfect response. On the premium services side, it's an opportunity to facilitate both selling premium services, both pre and post conversion, and servicing premium services pre and post conversion. On the membership side, it gives you the opportunity to do all kinds of cool things, like have a dedicated life assistant, teach people how to use the membership. That's one of our challenges for our business. Remembering past details about the customer. One of the things that's been most interesting about the chatbot so far is that people really form a relationship with Pearl. And that's one of the reasons we're having this $5 payment confusion. We're sending them to the same page that the old funnel had, where it says $5 and $27 and whatever the numbers are. Same page. They believe Pearl more than they believe the page. That's why we're having this $5 problem. Not because it's not clear on that page. That's the same page we had before. It's because she says $5 and they believe her and they don't believe the new page. That's both a problem for us now, but it's an opportunity because they believe her. That's an opportunity for us to build a relationship over time, not just in the funnel. And I think there will be opportunities to use that to help build that relationship in both the Impress and the Marry parts of our strategy. We can use proactive customer service, and last but not least, we can extend those customer relationships. Right? Imagine emails coming from Pearl and being really personal and responsive to you and your need, and how's your cat doing, and you know, all the stuff that you can imagine a good assistant doing. And so, you know, this is one way to think of this is bot first. I don't think anybody's sort of coined this word out there, but everybody thinks about mobile first or app first. I think the next generation, you might even consider this bot first. And the way that, and here's a quote that's interesting from a guy named Adam Marchik, who wrote the 2017 Voice Report, which I'm happy to share with anybody who wants. If you send me an email or just ask me, I'll send it to you. It's a great report. And I talked to him about it about a week and a half ago. And here's a quote from him in our conversation. You probably have the highest volume chatbot in the world, and you're definitely monetizing more than anyone else in the world with a chatbot. Now, just to be clear, he doesn't consider Siri or Alexa to be a chatbot. There's something different. So including the hardware / those guys, he says, in the chatbot world, we're the biggest. I double checked with Bruce Wilcox, and he says, yes, you're the biggest on the monetizing. You might not be the biggest on the chatbot. So, you know, different experts don't, and we don't know all the stats on everybody. He said, I think Xiaoice in China is probably bigger than us in terms of raw volume. But, you know, we're up there. We're one of the biggest, which is great. And so what's the possible future of this? What's the possible vision of this? My dream is that one day you'll say, hey, Alexa, my cat hurt her leg. And she'll say, okay, I'm connecting with Pearl now. Pearl's going to say all the questions that Pearl asks. What kind of cat is it? Right? How long has it been happening, et cetera. And then she's going to connect you with a veterinarian. And you're never going to hit a web page. You're never going to go to a mobile phone. Whole thing's going to happen here or with your Alexa, the entire thing. No web page, no mobile phone app, any. So getting back to the connect the dots. That's a vision, and that's a picture of the vision. The specific vision, to boil that all into one sentence, is we're trying to become customers' first choice for professional services. And Pearl, I want to be really clear about this. Pearl is not our strategy. Pearl is not even exactly our vision. Pearl is a tool that we're using to accomplish our strategy. Our strategy is meet, impress, marry. The same strategy we've had. Pearl is a tool to help us do these. Pearl has been helping us a lot on Meet. It's helped us on SEO. It's helped us on PPC. We're now getting into doing cool things with affiliates. We're now going to have an opportunity to talk to Alexa and Google and all these guys in really interesting ways because of Pearl. But it's a tool to help us meet. Impress and marry, we haven't done much with Pearl there yet. We don't know if it's going to work there or not. It's a tool. We think that there's a big opportunities there. I painted a picture of all the different ways that she could be a great tool there, but we got to start experimenting. We got to start learning. We got to see how she plays into all this. You know, clearly we've built up some relationship by the time people convert. And I think it's a bad thing that then she abandons you and it goes to her old site and she's not there anymore after that. And so if we can continue that relationship, I think that's going to be a really good thing, both in terms of impress and marry and provide all kinds of new opportunities that we haven't seen before, but we haven't done it yet. So let's talk about some other things in 2016 besides Pearl. So average customer rating improved from 4.31 to 4.5 last year. So that's impressive. I think a round of applause to the team on that. Data integrity and analysis tools improved dramatically. I think if you're on especially on PPC, SEO, I think a bunch of teams, compared to where we were a year ago this time, the tools are dramatically better. So I think a round of applause for Marcus and Gavin and everybody on ADI and engineering and QA even that helped us get tools that really work much better than ever. I think for the site remained up and stable. I think we had 0 rollbacks last year. Is that right, Tim? Yes, 0 rollbacks. So I think the team deserves a, what's that? Yeah, it was close. So a round of applause to that whole team. Tim and Long and Nick and everybody. I think it's a great year. Customer lifetime value continued to improve. I think we added about another $2 over the last year, which is nice and incremental and heading us in the right direction of where we want to be on the Marry side. So a round of applause to membership and loyalty and everybody that's input, and premium services are in there too, remember, and repeats in there. So a lot of teams involved in that. Membership GSS grew 23%. So again, membership team. Premium services grew 89%. So a round of applause to the premium services team. It just continues to grow at a very fast rate. Which is amazing. SEO got back on track. We did 14% growth last year. So Tushar and Reagan and Vlad and everybody. I don't know where I got these. Somebody gave me these numbers. Reagan's looking like, where'd that number come from? It's 27 or it's 2. I don't know. But it was up. We did, SEO was good last year. You know, I think PPC drove 19% growth through the restructure and through the better tools and analytics and replacing Marin with our own tools. So round of applause to everybody on that team. Pearl grew from almost nothing. Now it's over 80% of our customers are coming through Pearl. So we just talked about, but a round of applause to the whole Pearl team and Valhalla and Jarvis and everybody. We continue to march on MVC. We added the credit card pages now on MVC and I guess thanks to Pearl, we're sort of maybe skipping all the other pages in the not too distant future. So we're getting closer and closer to having MVC almost everywhere. So a round of applause to Valhalla and all the teams that were involved in getting the credit card page on MVC. We added 48 people last year in all of our offices, both in the US, in India, in Manila, in Ukraine, 48 people. So a round of applause to all the HR people and recruiters that were involved and all the hiring managers that were involved in making that happen. International had 10% lift in net GSS over 2015. So a round of applause to the international team. And last but not least, you know, I think that both the HR team and the finance team did a lot of work last year to take some of the more administrative tasks and offload those to both ADP, to Centerviews. We now have a new travel provider, and so we're taking some of the work that was very transactional and not adding a lot of value and outsourcing that so they can work on the more strategic stuff, and I think that's been very helpful too. So round of applause to those teams. That was a lot of work. So let's talk about some of the obstacles in our way. And there are a bunch of obstacles. So I want to be really clear, you know, this is a business and we've got a bunch of problems right now. And as soon as we go through and solve every single one of these problems, there's going to be a new set of problems. And so please take these all in that light. So I'm going to go through the list. So the pay if satisfied is mostly gone. 80% of the time it's gone from our main funnel. We know that was a source of payment confusion and confusion for customers, and that's mostly gone. It is not all the way gone. There's a few spots where it still is. It's not sort of in the primary place that it was, and it's not nearly the problem that it was, but it's much, much smaller, and I think we're now with very close and we're shooting range of getting rid of that problem altogether, but it's not done yet. It's still a problem. $5 in Pearl is a problem. As I said earlier, it's in tech and home improvement and SEO, which were the two biggest problems in SEO. That's fixed. We got a lot more to do to get that fixed everywhere, and the team is focused on that. And I expect we'll continue to make progress this quarter, and hopefully we can get find a winner there. We've got some cool things. I've got a competition with Lisa for some scripts that could solve this problem, and we will solve it. Channel diversity is another big one. We've got the affiliate channel we've been building up with Josh and Janicia, and so that's starting to build, and I think we're seeing really good progress there. We've got having Beth on the team is now providing an opportunity for Facebook and native ads and some other cool things. We're looking for a biz dev person as well, so we can start thinking about doing biz dev deals, which I think will be exciting just to get some of those in the door. And then I should say that Bing and Yahoo, so we've been very reliant on Google, I should say Bing and Yahoo have grown dramatically thanks to Pavan and a lot of the folks on the India team, on the PPC team in India, where I'm going to visit next week. Bing and Yahoo have grown from $138,000 in revenue in January of 2016 to over $400,000, so almost tripling in a year. So round of applause to that team. Okay, so that's channel diversity. On the 9-second answer and funnel, that one is, it's gone on PPC. I think it's still there and on some SEO spots. I think the SEO team is thinking that we might be able to solve that and check that box in the next few months. But that's mostly gone. Mobile monetization. That's all good. We're good. Mobile monetization is a continual effort. I mean, we're getting a lot of mobile traffic, and we got to continue to work on improving the conversion rates and figuring out ways to make mobile work. And we're making progress on that, but it's not like solved. And then I think Pearl is a doctor. That's one that has been solved, and we're not that's gone, and we solved that problem. On the Impress side, on the expert payout model, we haven't done anything in the last 6 months. I think we had intentions of, and we were thinking about it, but that's a tough problem. We're messing with people's pay, right? There's experts pay, and we don't take that lightly. And I think we've found some other bigger opportunities to improve the quality of answers and do what we ultimately really want through priority access and search pricing and things like that. So I guess in a way with search pricing, we're doing a little bit on the pay side, but not in the holistic way that we've been thinking about it. But that's still on our list and something we'd like to do. On the expert quality side, it's inconsistent but improving quite a bit because of priority access and the continuing quality work. We see that in the ratings that we get, and I think we're making good progress there, but it's certainly not something I can check off and say, oh, we've nailed it on this yet. Feedback loop for premium services. We're doing a much better job than we were doing before, but we're still not great on that. As of October 2016, we now ask experts to confirm that they delivered the service before we pay them. And so that's a step in the right direction, but it relies on the honor code, and that's not perfect. So we're continuing to work on that. And we've actually moved the fulfillment responsibility or we're moving the fulfillment responsibility of premium services from the premium services team over to the expert ops team, because they're good at that. And so we think that'll help with that one. Refund rate and chargebacks. Let's see. So we made progress. It's become much easier to get refunds online. There's no delay. Even positive raters can get refunds if they want it. It's easier to contact customer service. We solved a lot of the problems in the IVR, and you can ask call and you go straight to a customer service rep. We've got membership reminders. Hey, you're going to be charged in 3 days, and emails going out to all those folks. We've made a lot of progress on that. We are in a much better place. I think you all know we're out of the chargeback program and in a much healthier spot, but we have not solved this problem yet. And that's one of the reasons we're so focused on the payment confusion with the Pearl stuff in our funnel. I want to talk about one thing, which is we have been, as I think most of you know, we've been moving transactions and sort of doing whatever we can to sort of try to help ourselves get out of this program, and that hasn't been great. And one of the things we figured out is that we can we've been doing this QA program where we are running quality assurance tests to make sure the payments are going through. And we've been doing that for a long time, and the team figured out, hey, we can actually do more of that instead of messing with customer payments, and we've started doing that. So just so people know, it's still a crutch until we figure out the true underlying problem of payment confusion and this stuff, but at least we think we can do this now without moving customer payments around and messing with that, which is much better. By the way, I should say, now this QA stuff, it doesn't affect our actual revenues or GSS or any of that kind of stuff. This is not even hitting any of our financial numbers, I don't think, in any way. So it's purely a tactic that we're using to help us in the short term. And these are real transactions sent to the credit card company, processed. We're paying the credit card company the fees that are involved in that, all of that stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's the point on that. And then the last section is Mary. We got three main problems there: insufficient value for membership, which we're working hard on. We're doing all this active membership stuff about creating value for customers, and we've got some interesting tests running there. We've done some interesting positive retention pieces like the Manage Your Expert and the more confirmatory membership language. And I think that's it on that one. The low customer repeat rate, we have not made progress on that one since 6 months ago. And in terms of the greater focus on LTV, we've made a lot of progress on that. So I think most of our OKRs now are at least sort of net of expert fees and refunds and things like that typically, and we're not all the way to like full LTV and all these things, but we're making a lot of progress on that. I think that'll continue to happen going forward. So with that said, here's all the things we're doing on Meet. Here's the update on this slide. So PPC restructure, we've done the heavy lifting on that. We're still restructuring along the way, but not nearly as much. LTV bidding is coming. We're not doing it today, but we're getting closer to being able to do full LTV bidding. Trust and Funnel is an ongoing project, and we're continuing to try to do that, and we will continue to do that. On the channel diversity side, we've got the affiliate programs going full bore, and Josh and Shanisa are hammering away at that and building our affiliate business. Biz Dev, Josh and I are starting, and we're hiring for a Biz Dev person, and so that's underway. Facebook social ads is now underway in a real serious way. We're committed to making that work, and so that's why we got board approval to extend the budget and make a serious play at diversifying our channels, and Facebook seems like a logical place to start. Pro Wilson will continue to improve and innovate there in terms of SEO. We'll continue to innovate there and continue to make good progress there. We're really excited about a new tool called BrightEdge, and we think there's some great things happening there. Monetizing mobile better is a continual effort, and we'll continue to do that. Site reviews is continuing. PR, we expect to start that this year, hopefully sooner rather than later this year. And I think we're posting a job for a PR person here if it's not already posted. Offline brand advertising is still a little bit more of a long-term thing for us. Content marketing social is something that's getting closer and closer to becoming reality, and I think it has some nice ties with some of the work we want to do on the Facebook social side. On the platform, Internet of Things, I think getting on devices is a step in that direction. So some of the work we want to do with Pro Wilson is kind of interesting, and if we can get an Alexa, and, we talked to a company called Hello Egg, and that's got their own device in this. It's just for cooking, and there's some cool things we can start to do there, but it's not a short-term thing. And then premium services and direct sales is something that we are actively working on now. Rahul's in charge of that. We've got a bunch of people thinking about and working on that and doing some cool, exciting early day stuff with that. On the Impress side, we've got answer speed, answer quality, always a big challenge, always the focus of that team. Expert profile quality is something we'd like to address in the medium term. Expert payout model is something we'd like to address in the medium term. Expert retention is something we'd like to address in the medium term. Expert recruiting is an ongoing challenge and opportunity that Minaz and the team work really hard on. Operationalizing premium services is something we'd like to sort of finish and automate and get that to a place where we don't have to worry about that so much, and it's just like questions coming in, and we can sort of manage that more holistically instead of like having specific problems there. Chargebacks we hope is a short-term problem that we can be done with and we can fix in the near term. And then having that customer relationship with Pearl is something we'd like to start. We are starting to play with. I think we're going to do our first experiment on the Impress side, post-conversion with Pearl, I think in the next week or so. Will be our first test there. On the Mary side, member value and member engagement are top priority and really focus of that team, and they're going to do some really cool things with active memberships there. On the personalization side, I think we're a lot of that comes in the email side. I think we're doing a lot sort of basic chopping and blocking on the email side to make it just work and do the basic things so that we can build towards a place where we can really do personalization and the exciting, sexy stuff we'd like to do there. And that sort of email marketing we are doing now. Communicating breadth is something that we'd like to do in the midterm. International is happening and is ongoing and is important to the company and our strategy. Mobile app is something that's ongoing. Premium service is ongoing, and LTV measured success is ongoing, and we continue to make positive progress on that. So going back to the numbers, so in terms of the Meet, Impress, and Marry, that's our strategy. Meet part of that is all about meeting new customers in whichever way that we can. And our goal was to get from 110,000 to 400,000. I lowered that a bit to make it more reasonable. And today we're at 116. So we're making some progress since last we talked about this. Here's the graph of that. You can see sort of some pretty good progress recently. And I think as the year wears on, we'll see continued progress there. On the Impress side, I mean, that's all about impressing those customers. Okay, we just acquired a customer. How do we impress that customer? How do we earn a 5-star review from them? And a real one, a real 5-star review. And so the way we track that today, that's 4.5 globally, 4.6 domestically. So the numbers you see in the OKRs are 4.6. Globally, it's 4.5, so we're a little lower internationally. I also want to be clear on this one. This is of people that rate. We also separately actively track people that don't rate, and then we're also trying to get that number up so they're rating more often also. And here's that chart. Pretty impressive, especially recently since we really started focusing on it. On the Mary side, this is all about extending that relationship and expanding the services that we offer so that we can earn more money from them. So they want to have a longer term relationship with us, either through premium services or through extending that membership or through asking more repeat questions and getting from $43 to $100 LTV. Today we're at $452, so that's good progress. And why 100? 100 is the number that we think we need to get to in order to make more offline advertising work. So like TV ads, radio ads, some of the things we'd like to get to isn't going to work at $50 LTV. We think when we get to 100, it will work. And here's that chart over time. And so bringing that all together, that's the dots that are in between this OKRs we're doing every quarter, the long-term vision that we have, customers first choice for professional services. We're trying to do these 3 things and Meet, Impress, and Marry. In terms of the IPO, something we talked about last time, let me share an update on the progress there. Our goal is also, and it's not, the vision is not to IPO. IPO is a step along the way towards that vision. And we roughly need to double our business in order to get to an IPO. This is the chart I showed you 6 months ago, where if we can grow 50% a year, we can IPO in 2 years. If we go 30% a year, we can IPO in 3 years. And if we go 20% a year, we can IPO in 4 years. And we had a good year last year. So here's the updated version of that. Now I think sort of with the positive progress we've made since the last company meeting, or since the last review of this, 3.5 years away if we can grow 20% a year. I think we're 2.5 years away if we can grow 30% a year from here. And we're like, 1.7 years away if we can grow 50% a year from here. So that's the update on that. Opportunity sizings, we got PPC and ads. I added ads in here because now we got Facebook and other cool things that are coming in. And then we can double our business just through those, as Beth has seen in other places, right? Just through those, we can get to an IPO. Just through international, we can get to an IPO, and we can grow 4x on the international side, which would be a big boon for our whole business. Just through the Pearl stuff, if we continue to make progress and see positive gains in both conversion rate and hopefully throughout our customer experience, see gains on the Impress and Marry side as well, we can get there. On the memberships longevity side, there is a lot of opportunity there, especially if you think about active memberships and some of the things that we're doing there to double our membership business, which again would get us to an IPO. SEO, I think the team is seeing lots of opportunities with BrightEdge and with the team in place and the tools that we now have. I think we can 4x our SEO business and make a big impact here. And I think last but not least, I think premium services it could easily become a $50 million business for us. The reason I mention all these things is that we have 6 different ways to double our business. Any one of these 6 could double our business. Now, I'm not counting on any one of these 6 doubling our business. I'm counting on each of these contributing some meaningful part of that. And so I think we have a good set of things that we can do to build our business from here. And so here's sort of the update on that. We're making positive progress on each of the 3. And with that said, I want to thank everybody that helped me put this together. This is not just me in the middle of the night putting together a deck. This was a lot of help from Miriam and Rebecca and Alexandra on the design, and the exec team, Adam, Puneet, Carrie, and Rob. And then we had a Connected Dots task force that helped with this as well, Brent and Josh and Lisa and Miriam and Rahul and Reagan. So a round of applause to all of them for putting this together. And with that, I'm out. Too expensive. And then it's one slide. And then after this meeting, I will be here to answer everybody's questions about all that, because that was a lot of content. I know it's a lot of content, and you'll see elements of this in the future too, so you can ask then. But if you have questions, you can ask after this meeting.
Great, we'll be very fast. I know at our last Lemonade stand, people talked about wanting to have tools to do expert referrals, and so we hope to have them at today's meeting, but I think early next week we will have cards. Manaz will come around to give you cards to hand out to people you see in your world to encourage them to become experts on our site. And we have, they also include their special expert recruiting at justanswer.com link. So Manaz will, what? Oh, okay. So Manaz will personally hand deliver, hand walk those people through. So expect to get the cards, and I really appreciate your work and helping to recruit. Updates and awards and announcements. So we've got a lot of new hires. So I think, are all of them here? No, Rakshit's not here. But Allison, Karen, Geraldine, and Beth. Do you guys, I think everyone's had warm welcomes to all of them. Do you guys come, all of them are quite new. So do you guys want to stand up just so we can see you all, right? Hey, thank you so much. Really excited. And Rakshit is a new analyst. He's not here as part of the analyst team. We also have some other new hires in. These are all 4 in Ukraine: Alexander, Victoria, Alexandra. And is Alexandra the one that helped work on the Connect the Dots project, I think? Didn't she, Rebecca? Yeah. And Christiana. So great new members of our teams here. And you'll notice that, gosh, for the first time, I think none of them are on our engineering team, right? So we've got designers and operations and customer support. So that's exciting as well. And then we've got visitors. So all 4 of these visitors are new analysts on our team, right? And one from India and 3 from and 3 from Ukraine. So 2 of you are sitting together. Where are the other? I don't. Oh, there. 2 over there. So be sure to. I've already had a couple meetings with this team. So make sure to take advantage of having them here and being part of our group. Open positions. So here's our list of open positions. We've got a VP of Digital Marketing, Head of Expert Ops, the Head of Business Development that Andy talked about, a Marketing Manager, Product Manager, Customer Care, and Email Marketing, in addition to a UX copywriter to help us with Spain. So we don't have that PR manager position on there yet. We're in the middle of revising the job description on that, but if you have PR ideas, let us know. So please continue to send your ideas on referrals. I think many of our candidates are referrals, so we'd love to hear from you. Just Answer Awards, Above and Beyond Awards. Do we want... I'm going to have you guys look at the list in the spirit of time. So congratulations. Look, it looks like we've got a very global group here. So thank you all. Pyramid Awards, we have 2, Nick and Augustina for Pyramid Awards for the beginning of the year. Congratulations. And finally, we have an upcoming event on March 30th. We did, we just completed our our employee survey. We got a 79% participation rate, which was above our goal of 75. And so next Thursday, not next Thursday, March 30th, we're going to have a Urban Putt event. And we're in the process of getting the results compiled, getting the benchmarking, and then we'll be sharing those results with all of you. And actually, the Connect the Dots effort came from the last year's employee survey. Q&A, I don't think we had any Q&A this month. Oh, Annie's Q&A. Okay, Annie's Q&A.
So yeah, so I'm not going to do Q&A live. We can come chat with me now, but I just want to let you know I'm presenting the same deck in India next week and to the Ukraine team next week as well. So it's important for you guys to understand this, and because you might get questions coming that way and every which way. So I'm going to do Q&A now over here. Come over if you have any questions.